Welcome back to Forest Hill United Methodist Church's podcast, It Takes a Village. Today we are talking with Sydney Yih, who is Forest Hill's Communication Director, and we're so excited to have you in this conversation today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been at Forest Hill.
Thank you for having me. I have been employed with Forest Hill since March of 2022, and my affiliation with the church really started in 2000. That's when I started preschool here. So it's been a long time coming, kind of a full circle moment. And then in 2023, I was baptized here and joined the church as a member. And I think a week later, I was married here in the historic sanctuary. So kind of checked a lot of boxes here at Forest Hill, and I love it here and love being part of this church.
You've really integrated in, and we love that. Tell us a little bit about your role as communication coordinator.
Sure. The role itself kind of has evolved into a lot of different things. It started off with kind of just the social media, creating graphics for events and really anything to do with church marketing, whether it be for sermons or events. And then it kind of turned into website management and managing different platforms on social media, such as our Instagram and Linktree. There's a couple different things that it kind of flourished into. But day to day, I'd say most of my time is spent on Canva, just trying to fine tune our graphics and make them more appealing and easy to read and understand.
So I know that you love details. So could you tell us a little bit about branding, what you've learned about it, kind of branding templates, or and how you've integrated that into Forest Hill?
Yeah, so when I got here, we had our original Forest Hill logo. It's the two words, Forest Hill, and the T in Forest connects with the H and makes it a cross. And that was kind of the main logo. And another one that has been around for a while was the Love, Grow, Serve. It was 3 circles, a heart, grow was a little plant sort of thing, and then the serve was a hand, and it said Love, Grow, Serve under. And so that was used for, I guess, 3 years now, and was used on t-shirts and all of our marketing materials. And so just kind of making that into our new logo is where the details come into play, such as the color choices we've used with the new logo. We started off with a couple different shades of greens and oranges, but we realized our roots were with Love, Grow, Serve. So we kept the red and the green and the blue and kind of organized it into this logo here. So it's just small details that I think are important when identifying your brand.
So I don't know exactly how far back our logos went, because the ones that you talked about that were when you got here were here when I got here 10 years ago. So it's been a part of the church for a while. Mm-hmm. I don't really even know the roots of how that came to be. But tell us a little bit about our new logo, and tell everybody about how it got put together. How it came to be.
So with this new venture that Forest Hill is venturing into with the Gibson Village community, we decided I think it would be a good time we all decided it would be a good time to kind of see what new things are coming about, not only there, but within this campus. And so when deciding a new logo, we had many different options. Should we do like a picture of the sanctuary? Should we just do words? And actually, Justin, he had, I guess, been in the sanctuary in the ministry center and saw the stained glass on the window, and it was 3 kind of pillar structures, and I think the colors were orange and blue and green. And I guess we took a picture of it and we looked at it and we studied it, and we realized that kind of embodies the sanctuaries here and like the campuses here. So we have main sanctuaries, and then the new Gibson Village worshiping area will be kind of the 3rd pillar. So that kind of is how it was organized.
So I know we've tweaked some things, like you talked about tweaking the colors. So now tell us about how formalized the branding is now.
Yes, it's become very formalized. In the past, we kind of it wasn't too formal. Like there was a couple different shades of green that we would use for Love, Grow, Serve, and it just wasn't as consistent as it could have been. And I think that is just, it's more professional to stay consistent. So with this one, there's two main versions of it. One is the landscape version, and one is kind of a vertical stacked logo. It stays the same with the 3 pillars, and then always with Forest Hill United Methodist Church or Forest Hill UMC when referencing the stacked logo. And we've kind of done kind of a couple different integrations with it. We've done the Forest Hill UMC, Forest Hill United Methodist Church will put Gibson Village under it, or downtown, or I think I just did one actually for the clothing closet, and it says Second Blessing Clothing Closet. So not only with the campuses, but with ministry applications, we've kind of turned this logo into that. We've done one for children's ministry and youth ministry. So it's got a lot of different capabilities to it, which is really nice, just flexible, and I think it heads us in the right direction.
So it's versatile, and we have a color palette with exactly the same colors, and so we'll all be seeing that over as it unfolds and as it gets integrated into all the pieces, and it's already on my cup. So
yes, definitely, yes.
We're already getting that out of the world, which is exciting because I have a lot of older t-shirts now. Will be vintage Forest Hill t-shirts, and so we're looking to do some other ones now. And then, like, just a little teaser, you're working with Andrew
Yes.
to come up with a store. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So the t-shirts at Forest Hill, people ask about t-shirts, at least once a month. And we don't always have the right sizes on hand, because usually when we put in t-shirt orders, it's for a bulk order, it's for a VBS, it's for a community service event, or it's just because we just may want to order some, but it's usually done in a bulk order. However, just with our amazing members here at the church, just finding ways to make things more accessible. Andrew Hamilton, he'd found this website that you put in, it's specifically for churches, I believe. You put in your designs and what products you'd like to have your designs on. And anyone can go on there and order a t-shirt in your size. You can do it with like front logo only or front and back. You can pick your color. You could do a little bag, a sticker. So it's, and you just order for yourself. You don't have to wait till Forest Hill gets their bulk order in. And so it's kind of it's really nice. We haven't ordered anything yet for the church, but we've gotten a couple test products, and it looks amazing.
That's
really
awesome.
excited for that.
That is awesome. We do have a lot of people who want Forest Hill merch, so
Yes.
that's really fun. That's fun, and I'm happy that people want it, right? Because that's getting that out into the community,
Exactly.
which goes back to that branding. And when we're real consistent, then people will be able to just see the logo, be like, "Oh, that's Forest Hill. That's the church downtown or in Gibson Village." So that's exciting.
Yes.
So your role as communication coordinator is really important to that community building piece. How does branding help us communicate who we are and how we connect people?
I think branding, connection to the community, I think it goes hand in hand. When we have these outreach events and we identify ourselves as Forest Hill and just doing the good in the world, I think just that cohesion there will stick in people's head, and it will help them realize that we are doing good in the world and that we are here, we are present in the community. And I just think it kind of just puts a name to a face, and it's just good for creating community. And yeah.
So in all the things that you've created, all the branding that you've done, what is like the thing that you're like, oh, this is my favorite thing?
That is hard. I think my favorite thing is getting all of our social media platforms within the same color scheme and the same like profile photos of our logo. I think that is just so satisfying to me, and just having like the same shades of greens and blues. I think that just comes with me being just kind of detail oriented, and like that matches. I like that. That makes me feel good. So that to me is exciting, and I think it's going to be very nice once it all comes together.
So as you've done this, as you've been in this role, you've really learned a lot of things. You've learned a lot of things about social media. You've learned a lot of things about algorithms and how things show up on pages or how we connect people. So what would you like to share with us about like what you've learned, what you found to be really interesting?
So what I found interesting is that I never knew how much thought went behind creating, I guess, kind of a brand identity. I didn't realize that there were like these companies who are paid to do this. They'll put together a whole like portfolio of different variations of your logo, the font sizes, so many other things. So I think obviously we have not paid a company to do that because we can do it here, and just like learning and seeing what other companies have done and how and why it's important. I think that's just been the most interesting thing, and seeing how kind of elaborate it is, and you can make it as elaborate as you want or not. And I think that we've done a good job of identifying ourselves and making it clear and concise. So I think it's been interesting in that way.
So will you walk us through our social media platforms and like how people can get connected to them, and what platforms we're on?
Sure. So I'd say mainly Facebook and Instagram. And Facebook is really for everyone. That's where our services are streamed. They're streamed on YouTube as well. But on Facebook, we do posts for new members, events. We do actual like events where people can respond, and just post in general. Sometimes we'll post about the flowers blooming on the campus. So it's kind of, and the same with Instagram. We just kind of post all of our things happening and just updates at the church, and along with streaming worship. And YouTube is something that we've gone into. We've been streaming worship there and uploading videos for VBS or something like that, but we've recently done our podcast there as well. So having those uploaded to kind of a separate playlist is something new, and just kind of keeps everything organized. And lastly would be Spotify. We have recently gone into that with putting our sermons on there every Sunday, and then the podcast.
I love Spotify because I have Apple Play in my car, and so I just love being able to get connected that way. So that's a really, I think, awesome addition.
Yes.
So it's really, really
Yes,
great.
it is.
So that's all external communication, but we have a lot of internal communication, like our weekly emails and things like that. Like, and I know we've really worked to refine that. So we think about, and you could talk a little bit about like exterior communication versus interior or internal communication.
Yes. So I guess specifically, moving forward, like internal communication within our congregation or just our staff, just being cohesive with and being correct with the terms that we're using. When referencing Gibson Village, we used to say Kerr Street, and now that it has evolved into that, we to be more specific and just to get our congregation on board with what we're doing down there, and just being cohesive with how we're communicating that internally. And same with the downtown area, these buildings down here that we worship in, just kind of defining who we are. And I think that starts internally and it goes externally, but internally, just communicating that the right way.
So there's all these little tiny details that nobody even realizes are kind of a detail that you really work on and you're really great at. So like one of the things, like just want to give you a shout out, like you have worked so hard to get Google Maps to label our campus, our Gibson Village campus, that Forest Hill United Methodist Church Gibson Village. But even little things like that, you have to think through them, and like we take that for granted because we can just search on Google Maps, but that takes a lot of time and energy and like making sure things are correct.
Yes, there's a lot of random little things that I just don't even think to like bring up because they are such small things, but they do take time. Someone has to do it. It doesn't just pop up on Google by itself. Another small little detail that I enjoy that was kind of recent, we did it with our old logo, but now we've done it with our new logo, is when you're on your desktop or laptop and you go on Safari or Google and you go to Forest Hill's website, at the top of your tab, there's like this little thing called a favicon, I think is how it's pronounced. And it's this tiny little itty bitty version of our logo. And it's just so cute, and it sits up at the top of your tab. So if you have a couple tabs open, you'll always see the Forest Hill logo. And I think that's just really small detail that's really cute and fun.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. That is just awesome. It's just those little things that some people don't even know you have to do. Like I wouldn't have really thought about having to go and contact Google and make sure that our location is correct. But that's really important because when people are trying to get connected to us, that's going to be the way that they get connected. So it is a really tiny detail, but it really does make a big difference. And it's that building community and making sure people have the right information and getting people connected. So that's really a cool little thing.
Yeah.
So what else would you love to share with us?
I we do
the
have
app.
an
I
app.
knew there was something
Yes.
in the back of my mind. The app. Tell us a little bit about the app because that has been a work in progress.
Yes, so Forest Hill does have an app for your iPhone or Android, and on the app you can access our calendar, you can access the giving and our worship, the new podcast, and all of our social medias. And so if you'd like to find that app, you can go to the Google Play Store, the Apple iTunes Store, and search Forest Hill UMC. Now, our old logo does pop up, unfortunately, but we're working on getting that fixed. So it's not...
Small details.
Yes, exactly.
Lots to change over.
It's that old logo, the Forest Hill with the T and the cross, but that app is a way just to kind of just easily pull up the calendar, and I believe you can sync it to your personal calendar for an event like a Positive Provisions packing. You can schedule that and sync it to your personal calendar. So it's kind of just a little resource to have that's right there on your phone.
It is really handy. And then if you're nosy and you're driving by and you see a lot of cars, you can just pull up your app and
Yes.
you can know exactly what's happening. Even if you're like, I don't remember, am I supposed to be there? Yeah. So that's really awesome. And that's exciting that we're kind of relaunching that because we just went through kind of a website update and relaunch in conjunction with that as well.
Yes, our website, say it is updated visually. There's a couple different small changes, just relabeling things, like our health ministry is now kind of moved towards active ministry because it's something that is actively done, physically done on a weekly basis. So we did a couple things like that, but then visually the website has been updated. So check it out if you haven't already.
And there's a lot of great resources, like things that people might just want to like have a resource for, like a wedding policy and funeral policies, and just those kinds of things that are easily accessible if you need to if you wonder what the policy is.
Exactly.
Nice to have a place to go and get it, not have to call the church office or trying to put out as much information as we can.
Yes, exactly.
So what brings you the most joy as a part of Forest Hill?
I think what brings me the most joy is just the community and the teamwork and collaboration that is within the staff. There's obviously the same within the congregation, but I believe it starts with the staff, and because there are people you see every day. Sometimes you see them more than your spouse or your children on a certain day, and I think that it's important to have a good relationship in work, and that makes me excited to come here every day of the week. I enjoy just getting along with everyone. That brings me joy, and I don't think not everyone in the world can say that about their job, so I'm blessed to be able to say that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So we're asking everybody kind of as we're wrapping up, like in 2 years, when you look back on this podcast, what do you hope is still rings true?
I think for me personally, I would love to see just how this worship community has flourished on its own, how it will create its own identity still within like the Forest Hill, because it is part of us. But I hope that the concept of identifying and being your own kind of entity, I hope that still rings true down there. I hope that whether it be through just logos or the things to come with the farmers market, I hope that they're able to identify themselves and stay true to that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you really are such an integral part of all that. And so many people don't know that you are our detail person, and it's just really the work you do is really important in building community, and you're a vital part of the work that we're doing. So we're just grateful for all that you do.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to do it and more.
Well, that's all, and we will see you next time on Forest Hill's podcast, It Takes a Village.